pasado yung il tuta al morgao mar staffergao dire kan malung il tuta al morar sa ali del ngara eco paradise yung il tuta al morar rogu il Lorenz ra tokshore kama mer el tuta mar okya kama mara kaya ngalal mol motra ang ayaw el tuta we ang artang lobongek ang ara klisi at matuol BAULES ngiya directora administration yang ara klisi at matuol Anthony RUDIMCH nga manager sa project planning and implementation department ra Ppuc yang ara bitara Anthony MANNY ADELBAI ngiya manager power generation malumngigal deng gibul ra balura belaw el tuta ya tokshore ko mama malmom sadar sele project ra solar sele momakal badula akoksay ngara klisi seguida motra tapigar elang polmerekse yagi dimotali bel touch up para Drought ma el niño el mralmel laringa sub del tilob dra nemol girel malwaise aktimong wa olbiyong sa matulo mong mo starter sil tora solar.
Okay, sulang ISEBONG. Once again, mralungit po taon more other Lorenzo Tel Radio show. And thank you to the host, Palau Wave Radio, for making the time for us to come to share some important information. Kirela tel mobile facility ngarababadaw. It's what we call solar photovoltaic or solar PV independent power producer. And before I go into the details of the solar IPP, this will remind our community, especially our customers and the public, wasatial tokoy na renewable energy dekal BSL tokoy. The idea about renewable energy, especially for Palau, let's start at 2010. Seguido ng President Honorable Johnson Torbiong, and under his administration ang sign and approve sa Palau National Energy Policy. And inside that energy policy, malugol was by the year 2020, energy generation of Belao by 20% will come from renewable energy. And with that, it requires 30% energy efficiency also by 2020. And Mr. President Johnson Tourbillon called it the 2030-20 plan, meaning by the year 2020, Palau will reduce its energy consumption by 30%. 20% energy generation will come from renewable energy sources. And I gave the ongoing rooftop solar PV program and more residential, commercial customers, apart just the plan. Direct help Palau will reach 20% renewable energy generation. But at the same time, IPP or independent power producer, direct help Palau will reach 20%. So after President Tourbillon's administration and President Tammy Remengasao Jr. Was able to become president again, he reinforced that policy by introducing a solar PV IPP, and instructed PPUC to work with the Palau Energy Office at the time, or the Palau Energy Administration, to develop a plan to introduce solar PV independent power producer. So I think the community and the public has seen, I got numerous public hearings, even have read the news about the company called Solar Pacific. And the company called Solar Pacific was the company that through PUC's bidding process won the project to produce 20% of PPUC's energy through solar. And the main foundations of the energy policy is energy security, and at the same time to meet Palau's nationally determined contribution for reducing global emissions. And the IPP and the introduction of solar and renewable energy will help PPUC meet that goal. And just from that background is the reason why the solar IPP came into the picture. But I just want to remind the customers that solar PV IPP adi mo produce 20%, agel other 80% adig mo produce ringi a PUC through its diesel power plants. So what we also wanted to mention to the public was that there's some good news. The solar IPP has two advantages. Has an advantage to PUC. One, it'll reduce PUC's fuel consumption. That's because 20% of the power generated from the IPP will help PUC reduce some of its fuel usage, and it'll also lessen the running time for the diesel generators, meaning that the savings that we will see from the reduced fuel consumption will definitely pass on to the customers. But at this time, the solar IPP is still in testing phase. They're now connected to the grid. They're fully, I believe they have staff already that's working there right now, and they're doing testing, like certain modifications and other things to make sure that they can safely integrate the solar generation that they're producing into the grid. So some key things about the solar IPP. Number one, they operate under what we call a power purchase agreement. And a power purchase agreement is basically a contract that allows the solar PV IPP to operate for 20 years in order to recover its investment. As you know, as some people may not know, solar, an independent power producer, is really another electric company. It's another electric company like PUC, but instead of producing its energy through diesel, they're producing their energy through solar or renewable energy. And what are the advantages of a solar PV IPP? Number one, the fuel cost. They don't rely on diesel fuel or any other kind of fuel except sunlight. So they don't spend as much money on the volatile or the fluctuating of the cost of diesel or the cost of crude oil around the world. And when we last looked at the statistics and the data online, it shows that the price of fuel will continue to rise until 2050. So PUC was able to negotiate a IPP price at around 14 cents per kilowatt hour for the price of the solar energy that will be sold to PUC. And when you compare that with the price of per kilowatt hour that PUC is paying now for diesel, PUC is paying right now between 21 to 22 cents per kilowatt hour for diesel. So that's savings that will be transferred to the customer. So that's another thing that I wanted to bring up. PPUC will be doing a public hearing regarding the new rates. The new rates that will take effect sometime in December or January. So the public hearing is going to be scheduled for the last week of October. That's the week of October 30 to November 3. And during that time, we invite the public to come to the public hearing so that they can see the impacts that the solar PV IPP will have on the electric rate. And I can with confidence tell the public that we will see some savings. So you can expect your kilowatt hours to lower because of the IPP. And that's because the IPP will be saving PUC fuel by about 25%. Right now, PUC uses around 5.4 million gallons of fuel each year. And this IPP will reduce that fuel consumption by about 25%. As I said, the public hearing will be sometime at the end of October. And a public announcement will go out showing the time, the exact date, and the place where we will have the public hearing. And then implement the rates within 30 days after the public hearing. So customers can expect to see a lower price on their kilowatt hours. I can say right now that PUC will most likely be able to lower its fuel price per kilowatt by at least 5 cents. Which will impact the customer electric rates. So we can see some impacts to your bills as we move forward. And the good thing about the solar IPP is since they don't rely on diesel fuel, the higher the cost of the fuel will go, the higher the savings the customer will have. So, like I said, as we look at the trend of the fuel costs around the world, they continue to go up, especially with the war in Ukraine and other factors. The price of diesel has continued to rise, and we think that we believe that the price that PUC has secured from the IPP at 14.25 cents was a really good deal. Compared to 22 cents, and in the next years going on, it might even go up to around 30 cents. If you remember, if everybody recalls, during the pandemic, the fuel price went up to almost about 50 cents, and we can expect the fuel price of diesel to continue to rise. So with this IPP, it's a very good project, and the estimated commercial running date for the IPP will be about sometime in December, and they will be producing around 20 million kilowatt hours a year. 20 million kilowatts to 23 million kilowatt hours a year, and that's around 20% of the amount that PUC produces through its power plants. The PUC produces around 80 million kilowatt hours of power through its diesel power plants, and the IPP will take care of around 20%. Mr. Tellemas, that's all I really have to say about the solar IPP. And if there are any questions that you may have, or any questions the public may have, we can answer regarding that before we go to the next.
Okay, Mr. Lange, Mr. TMETUCHL, el hace el domicile Power Purchase Agreement, Solar Pacific Energy Corporation, PPUC, en el mas kami wa electric energy sing girela 13.2 MBA.
Oh, why
say? Girela capacity niya 13.2. Yung mga raklungela a megawatt al beskid in terms ra AC beskid. La cuestión es la sela sil Gómez es el Power Purchase Agreement el obangela PPUC en girel talgum balil el meskhimi wa electric energy lo obangela battery storage facility el output la capacity niya 13.2 MBA. Tela klungel el pesquid el dengil megawatt.
So the 13.2 is apparent power, and it includes the reactive power that.
Sorry, to repeat.
Sorry, the 13.2 megawatt MVA is apparent power, which includes the reactive power that we need to run motors, and so our power factor is around 0.9. So that means that it will be giving us that peak will be around 12 megawatts.
12 megawatt.
Yeah.
Elamle tara agora le concern malubeng gora issue incidence el girel tagid el solar power energy la beskid atmosel sumgom synchronizing ilo bangel tel power grid ngarngi agora device gmi ul sebel wal بس كم يعني نوتيس من سبيل المقاوات أيقان مسيرة دينجيل سيبر سيل كلوني لا مقاوات اللوتوب دني لملا يسوع تلام لا تلو غير مصر ديمل كمال سوغوم مرال سبيل سيبر مسكيدا 8 مقاوات يا ترى أيقان مسيرة غير مو فري موديل وران وانغرا أوريليو غير سي
Pamsulangi senator korama omu ul ensel ya sumanganya koramo ko makail zakka beringi maybe sa lamanil so is a smoothie so selgari makmul wasenganya talang tingil ngkal IPP ngara koksail sa elulim mal mukodi rawan ramasil orong balance tel tengi what say
balance ngila issue lo el question ni akla say asumtial solar energy amskida let's say 8 megawatt ya imuragel power generator ela amskida 5 megawatt sebeda mogodira imurage
why say senator ma gel batte sabe gel batteri ngara a planta sida moktegri so tial IPP al dimuklerni ya batteri el sebel lotobdi ngal solar mung naklen stable seguida stable el dia al sep al banganya ugolyang at raklen din dire di tobo del malmal tatel dengi aruli mused al mqodira imong el generator sel maloms nganya di elasils din dire logi usay ngal batteria dia al di tobo del solar stable dire nganya enough storage ringi lokmongu let's say mo tal sirang el nganya ayab or ul nganya enough energy al sel batteri malamol mradengi until a PUC mutul magara clean gel generator let's say ngara nesuel Brasils emrong leungi layang modir ima generator mutul generator amral ma IPP mral waise ya pol nganya amu balyang emrong gel IPP emro isra PUC musagi modra pa solar magi mo makarok rang kalpateri mo magigo sila 1 hour lutul makarok clean kal generator ba seguida el coordination awul mo model ang di sila PPUC orior di let's say okay kada kal bon notice seguida nga da kal mata dengi adri kal part del IPP ang anya forecasting station or tit el sabel lo misal 3 hours ahead or longer lo esek mo araya da mo sa coordinator da dong lela power plant ma IPP o makarta dengi
pilan malgoringe engineer sel dula sen meteorological station. Es el metering station ng facility sing wang raw relen. Sel de la sing metering device mo banggel kagi de la meteorological station. Again rele la solar power energy direct mo install.
Why is it?
Mo help again mo raw relen.
This is a meteorological device or is it metering device?
Metering device.
Oh, metering device. Asal kuk metering ng Marseille, sedi mokta karingiya. Domestic central solar lot tabdi abekal sales mabekal buil. Engel metering asal endra every month. Eng PUC adala PUC magel adala IPP amot magemo oiwisel meter. Emo calculate mus guktelal dengia a PUC ngilu mesti da baser said mo harar ukara dengir sel bekal buil.
Adding on to Anthony's explanation, they have what they call a pyranometer, which is a kind of like a sensor that senses sunlight, and so it can tell. It's for like a short forecasting, like 5 minutes or so, and they also have cloud cameras that will predict when within a short time whether a cloud is coming or not, and so they can kind of gauge and give us a heads up on the short term. And then they also have they also subscribe to like a longer term cloud weather station that's online. And so there's different layers of that forecasting. But the one when you're talking about the meteorological station that's at the plant, it's those pyranometers that sense the sunlight, and it gives us a really good read on short-term fluctuation of the sunlight.
Cell metering device, Mr. Tellams, really important because by contract, tel IPP agirel produce at 20%, meaning between 20 million kilowatt hours to 23 million kilowatt hours. Al segundo to produce less than that. I don't want to say penalties, but then can we say penalties?
Yeah.
There will be penalties for them if they produce less than what's in the contract. So the metering not only allows PUC to read the amount of energy that we will be paying the company. If they produce less, then they will be in violation of their agreement, and there will be penalties towards that. That's because the power plant, based on the 20% production by the IPP for the next 20 years, PUC will have to reduce its fuel consumption, meaning we will start purchasing less fuel from the fuel suppliers. So let's say something happens to the IPP and they cannot produce the 20%, that will put PUC in a very bad position because we might not have enough fuel to last the whole year. That's just an example. That's why the metering device is really important for us to monitor the IPP and to ensure that they produce exactly what's in the contract.
Testing rela. So the update adra blura status tiagi del testing tiagi del solar and mora power grid e wangara umama ngoingrang mo sabel nganya mo strata commercial operation ngi
sulang Mr. Talamso el altime sel capacity ra solar la mongara 4.4 megawatt tabla podol sisuberngira sistema ergi drabek pensils elanga stage ri mari sel power plant IPP alto de ngara 4.4 megawatt ya IPP usir elanga digo mgarda adigo ra la trill generator el trill 5 megawatt generator elagi ngara stage lo mesri mus elam mgarda do ko bogodir ngal cloud generator ore mongi orelia wan el gari motul moklo ma wan el gari generator amra ngux el motul moklo solar top dra IPP la drug tester sel ruk sumungil marael egida mos edel ngul el gari generator mqodir maldi mo IPP ma tul generator emro gida mgi rogida lo rol waisel ruk mal mutul mqodir imon di la da digan السؤال الغير مجي قوجي ذي غير جيك المرور تال وريور لين دخل السؤال البول قلت نجد المرور تال وريور البول وقول مل بلغني اللغة ولا ذي نجيك بلغة التصوير أثر بلول مستل سولار تام مكين بدل مجي قوجي المرور تيجي الوريور الألس تايم إذا سكتشول كمسين ديسمبر 31 إن يا commissioning commercial operations date.
Sula, Mr. Rudy Mela, Sendula Singari Afur Megawatt Glamul, no Sisivit Park Reader. Belula Classic of those spares, Sigi the 4 megawatt at all time.
I see.
Sigi those spares in long guard.
I see.
24 hours Maluben Gukti said daytime.
Mali daytime.
Mela cell storage capacity, Sabel holder energy Gerel Sigi the 4 megawatt on a daily basis, Relangania testing.
سألن قال بطارية سأل الغذاء الموت الكلورا 4 ميجاوات من مقتغر نيا ذاقل الرغدة ذنجي أو الطب ذنجي سلقبسنجي ما قلنا ذا رجل وايسي مقتغر نيا make sure من قال ذنجي الطب ذا سولار ذاقل برباب ذاقل بريو من سألها تسنري تورجي السموث المرايل زين أو مقتغر نيا تجي البروجكت نقول assume that achieve a little percent renewable energy هندرقا بازو سبيرا أباتيري المرور تلاقي الوريور الطب ده دنجل قبسنجي الأسئلة دورا المرباب المبذولة 45 ولا نلاقي 45 إن لما جيدا لو سيجا أباتيري المرور تلاقي الوريور
سبيل المال مراوير أكلوت اللوجر مالو بين سبيل
لا خبايب
دي سؤال لوجر الجريلا جل السولار بلانغاي لورا دستالو بليل أجن وان موانغرا أمامسا ستادوس رجيجي دلبلاي
سولار روفتوب
سبريل كانتينيو لو سبيا سولار تيري كونكتد ميتال بارك ريد مالو بي como subir el guk abandona ye etirame fully ospitial PPUC energy power energy.
Oh no, the solar IPP will not affect the home rooftop solar. It will still continue. As a matter of fact, ADB amne provide the funds and more NDVP for what they call phase 2 of the disaster resilience clean energy financing program. And that's for commercial establishments. So right now, they're installing rooftop solar PV systems on commercial establishments.
Tiagi delle contratto lo vangel tele solar Pacific Energy Corporation and TELLEMAS.
20 years the contract eligible for extension ramut ayimra
ngaringia imora kora question dem lamel girela tagidel sell agreement between the PPUC ma tagidel el gombali sabel tagidel gombali lo tara interest rin muratara gombali while ngara el tagidel contract lo ngela PPUC
dal sabel Gel di oraria solar Pacific. Di al suguma by solar Pacific a tomir tel contract let's say al sel tagi the dragging en mo default. Only say the timing mo yakli si il setting il tiamo del gombali.
And Mr. TELLEMAS, may I also add that that's the difference between solar IPP, Blue Bay and IPNE. Blue Bay and IPNE doesn't just sell fuel in Mora PUC. They have other customers. They have gas stations. They sell fuel to the airport. They provide fuel for the government and transportation sector. The solar IPP is exclusive only to PUC. They can only sell the kilowatt hour generated by solar to the utility and nobody else.
No,
that's all we have for the solar IPP.
Mr. Talam sa kumes ngora mlamomre ka aldo algirela tel solar project matara selmo tapir kama ma ekale tongot mo kargi del girela drought, and as you know or naringi tingin other weather till of their said October 3 and kwase kadangara El Nino advisory ngaringi ako with el basen telte al el bodosis bra masisi el Nino ra next month and mabudula ang otro merul buil edire kan ngaringi aklisi el mangal mom sisi ra beginning ra next year magi dingarteng ogi telte al ra shore ka shore gid emaldi o maklat ka adara blue el girela o mongrio maralm katamdengel kwase selbol temela kamtimt ang mal mo mring adra belu ling mo makasaral mal mora oblil ma the el altame podo siga ire monorgi abli de drula amars rabli el ngoswira PPUC mong diungila sel supply aral mergidra ang rimel maigal potokal water sources rigid el maliwak rabelaw and Qadi kaygi, then if any one of tirakal adaka soril mo adal girela drought, especially egalwal lurerela PPUC, I believe egimla kutmok legal bomb el moregal idora bledos pera last el comtimt, maldi ready mal skumong mo gira de los pe egimaldi mol itiute mgrok lumong mo se de los pe egal ido.
Let me also add to what ISEBONG is saying. I understand the community and the public. They're probably thinking about the drought that happened in 2016 and the water hours and the issue of not having water where we had to. We were in a real serious emergency. I just want to assure the customers that this time PUC is well prepared. In 2016, network, the transmission and distribution lines, my get tanks, they were not set up as they were today. Now everything is new. Everything's been set up in a way that we can store water and have enough water to provide to the community if we have a long period of dry season. But that doesn't mean we also take our time to fill up, start keeping water tanks, and if you have water tanks already in your house, that's good. It's good to conserve water as much as you can, and just be prepared in case there's a prolonged period of dry season. And it's because most of our water reservoirs, Mr. Talams, are natural. They're not modernized dams like you have in big countries where they can seal off the dam and keep the water inside. Ngarimel and Ngrigil is a natural reservoir. So if we don't use the water, it will dry up on its own eventually or seep into the ground. Yeah. So what we try to do is we try to maintain the storage tanks so that they're full all the time. So in the case there's water hours, we'll be able to ration water to the community. But we hope and we pray that we don't reach that point. One good thing about climate change is the frequent typhoons that we've had. So even though the frequent storms that we've had, so even though the National Weather Service keeps telling us there's a 70% chance of drought, we still continue to have heavy periods of rain. So that has helped push a little bit. As a matter of fact, the Weather Service said July El Nino or the drought was supposed to start, but now it's October, and we still continue to have rainy season. So we can only thank and praise God that we've been having rains to support our water needs, but we will never know The same thing happened in 2016. It kept raining and raining. I remember even people telling us there's no such thing as El Nino. We will never have a drought, but then we did. So this is just an advisory to the public to let's prepare ourselves in case we do have a drought. And thank you for taking the time to listening to just a couple of our very important news to the public.
Sulanget matule isong sebedro que atulger ngari atulger namel telgi begora.
Yeah.
That's related. Go related and limro relium.
Okay.
Awan amora Mr. Rudim logering class in sevem lapte tergi de tialurio rakias rabaib musel bomb. Madire que mutardo spengi del alta maluvendia etela ludo da dir da balsela ADB ngi da udek mu igam tangen dia kaila malube muangara klunge la udo del harora ralma masur el tiagi del kias paul
Sulang Mr. Tellams mang akari mako ta update sel kuk to infrastructure ra kas pe ongeru ako tora sing telam de tello ma telar tel tarifa mang kadar tello so presin sing tablong the excel tora finance am pasring mora director TV ng alimas modi tora kas peng ni bago isik mo setel lurio ramlania 5 trill mktol contractor ngi ako tel kontrak sel ngara magati sel besel bom nga magati ogiwa main road all the way mera CIP ongerung el kontrak nga CIP el mora sewer treatment plant nga malal ya ongel kontrak o maktoora esel sewer treatment plant ngel bible ngara magati el mora CIP am lamo mre sel mlodom lomre ringi luriora 2019 ngel bible ngara CIP el mora sewer treatment plant adil qal bol mre abay bamlam atiu tandi ngani gel dir ka aiter el washo dir ka bol mereg minato basi sida klol ro dir ka bol mereg mangel bomb ngara si IP girel BSL bomb mangel bomb el morning sele dom kodon sing SPS tool across the porter gidra ngamalar sewer treatment plant elanga ongoing ding di so alo asset mongel Bible ngara magatil mora CIP although lamo merek dira bodo speringi elengegi del dalongalela ngel kuk nga CIP mong lo mer egal Bible adira ka bol merek ala kuk sewer treatment plant same lamo merek mong although ngel Bible ngara CIP mong adira ka bodo speringi dim no sabe el ngutel existing el bebet existing el system el ngu lo sibir tel besel plant manganya talgi bol ra reng muse dira bol lungi la bela mina tobasi matal bes planta damla maktarur din dira bol spelling dia arogul mgikyong tobdra orior al moranga mala ala mosois ra bes plant en trita de mronge morada mang la moringia amosesa November 9 at 2021
Ay.
Oy say
Oy.
November 9 at 2021 idam long el simis el bal belngun gal gikyon el moder al boreg el pand em rodiso edim el malta lo ngas el morsel bes el plant el ngara uera bora animal shelter lo state mang rogun gikyon el nga morsei nganya labor gid el tester sel gikyon el sel belsis mesel gikyon el sel top del ordo top del madao el testing amla o til muse almost 90% el gikyon el mesois ada bogodir emro otobdil mazao so example ngara 100 selgi nganya unit dong se bi odi diktik musingge del lo urgel 100 selbel sois by the time as otobdi ngari oraten mal close difference da malmol mrawrele elanga di ongoing elanga mal di gen gegre luriol de la contractor ma Ppuc di a planta mara egida osiga uzodre elanga do rom ministra finance Torong ADB ni dedrega los siga ngod al teal damna mo da dura DOI mo dura USTL o siga ngod al role la those mo se del smig lo reti complete seguido mina tobasi ngel bes el bombra CIP
Ela Mr. Rudime guluay sakmuela sel sewer treatment plant di directly motobra ada ela get pandal ngar bebula sel get ma sel ngara bitera marine resource age di mede na moder mo spe malube como on mutal age ngari am gikyong ral
Waisay.
kom gara gerela
Sulanga malungil kere Mr. TELLEMAS kapay malungil mtangali tele original system waisay game letril wal pand ayengel wan el pand nga raget magel tul pand nga bita marine resource di pagtakling gel pand nga raget gem la modiak tel bes el system ergid damle daiburt ordul tob da gel rum gikyon ngar segid el pand nga raget ngul mor segel pand nga dio emro fil ringi emro tel bes el treatment plant okmo komay etianga te al makin bay seguid el por seguid el panda sel es el planta que la adora bebul sel nania panda sel obong no de panda bay es el sistema adora bebul
aquilo que era earlier la multi project egot mo como abandona el pand este mal mo melin se ve den melin ringa let's say te ayuda el mechanical system al domong miltamal sel dabela sel area e gim lebge klal matamal al tom lital dabela ore rogir al dum loria panding system
na umral ma lins di ang ta kadoli man di umral nganya difference nganya sa single to bang al oting gel obom balmay masel ral maloba al to umral nganya difference ra potengel umral ma lins di mutel ko ba kan musel gari magel pandal ngariom le partra adosak musikame da olas mal bid outel si akong palil me di commission mus adrulil mutel mo di mo ut mo ngil basyo di sera da biter ngim le ngara eim million mal ne misel mering la aral di se ere tel abais da mege ko git da mo ka arura bes el plant em ko mege ko git lo mom ba gel gikyon ngara gel pandario lo la bel merba em ko mege ko gil mol sel bol ba mus adal al mege so sel uriora adediga momruri di el altamen da dos persel sil pan da lora di tutti al tora mo restore di la arakal di pozorur
olege sera beginning el initial stage age de loriorium legirela age de pandel el moringa ngi garal sel inga plantel de garal sel mga gel slats inga simergo obi eto de morata seguidam le concept sel magim lora age de mechanical technology it's only better of the worst perfect hindi ka po Mr. Mutule mo ay sit mutyan tela ludoda dirga donga deringi tela mede
Mr. TELLEMAS, the CASP loan was around I think $28 million loan. I'm not too sure how much of the funds are left remaining, that the amount left remaining that needs to be paid to the ADB in regards to the CASP loan, but I want to just give the public a very important and interesting announcement. As you know, the government of Palau passed the Unified Budget Act of fiscal year 2024. And in that law, they included an amendment that requires PUC to stop paying the loan to the ADB for CASP. And the purpose of doing that was so that PUC, the President of the Republic, and the ADB can come to a new agreement to restructure the loan and to give PUC a chance to either change the terms or maybe change the terms by changing the interest rate to a fixed rate instead of the rate right now. And also in that law, they are mandating PUC to reduce the sewer rate because of the removal of the CASP loan portion that's built into the tariff. So come November 1, customers can see a reduction in the sewer rate. Right now it's around $9.31, and we're looking at maybe $2.73 reduction to the sewer rate. So those customers that are paying sewer rates will see a reduction in the rate of the sewer bill, and that will come into effect November 1. And in that same bill, Mr. Tellemas, it waives the approval process, meaning we don't have to do a public hearing and we don't have to go through the normal process of implementing the rates. It will become effective November 1. So a public announcement will be going out to the public, informing the customers what rate that will be, and until such, and in that law, PUC has 1 year to meet with ADB and the president and renegotiate the terms of the loan to a much more affordable rate, so that it's beneficial to the public and to the government.
Mr. Metule se aveva avvocato lo lui se proposal a tilobda che agli promentra che spaghere lo spera temle project a number of tourist climb ma tourist amo perte agidal clol partra alone and dim lagal happen license on COVID-19 e gida wende he de mergo implementing alum rather vela mal suffer atial tiagi del blarli olbira lula store mi altang global helping rather blue for the time being e no mi negotiate le tirgei mi te dire che il tiram ne selectra con Bali il tiram la mi si abbandona tial il project man la it's only fair te lo penal de do lo ventrir e se limora questo nel me mi si RENGULBAI con la se tiagi del solar ngari alone malpe ngara payment ra PPUC lo bangel tiagi del gombali ra Solar Pacific Energy Corporation
Loan. Mga payment.
Mga loan malupin ko ra payment la deliver egal energy ko mamar.
Wais, sulang Mr. Tellemas, so arolela financing or sel no siga udo del momento ortial solar IP ranga oxai age mali ngara imala Solar Pacific mang tiram lo meleng udo tiram lo sig investors el udeliya seguid el ngara bazula o hotel 2 million el momento ortial urior ya PUC ranga ra huktora udo amal diogi seguid el power purchase agreement el dimo mangather seguid el 14.25 cents rabek el kilowatt hour those pairing hindi ka tim nakalo tim nakahuk ti commitment tagi del mora Solar Pacific muse bek el rak ayom ara dengil ratolong lela 20 million kilowatt hour el sot el gasay hotel ngarbab a 23 million kilowatt hour el dios tira ka seguid el 14.25 tira sa harar tira bek el buil tira huk may gitu ludo huk alilit museng makara lom dodra alender tir ngel loleng awdod ma investor tir
Tilang 14.25 cents for the next 20 years.
For the next 20 years, I say. Mga nganya cents sa arala mga nganya nga sa arala ka pateri mga ran dityang already fixed. I think ako klung yung lelsea sinulsa nga director TV lolmo mga nganya fluctuation na arala alu agil ko report the west wadi so far adik musing aral alu amo continue rise so alolomol maaral alu rise sa savings sa di mga muklo kung sige da kuklun yo la fixed tariff e ul de mil angara a minimum al 20 million kilowatt hour sa dilia director TV kida already mesois fertel urlo al malat mo mobek al rag tagid tlungela dengira sola dollar ngi mabol nga songs engel nga ni sel penalty tira harar gida mong takabol hindi ka sa song or tial agreement tal blato mo ipato mara alu ula dire gali ako maximum a maximum ako kung yolak mo sa elang 14 cents ato maaring iranggang in the future ko padarur to mabdula 45 or that tal basent ipato sige angod al gombali or angod al rolele mo introduce up es solar Ako kung kalkong bali adi mo 23. Hindi ka TV na mention na 80. Hindi ka more than 60 kilowatt tama de else edo kung sige ako kung bali maruringi altang mga rira 14 di ka dodingi. Maul nga niya maximum makmusan ka kung takal bolo last or silverest. Hindi nga niya tali da lo siga beberte.
Mlam na mo giri lore dun le completion certificate le Palestine ma Israel adi ultra oil isira lo mo tel magmadim lang masa rala oil.
Exactly.
Sugo ma Iran ma Syria mo involved en el muto el esqueleta rala oil la giri un meredo lo sikro letia yung meredo lo gira urelen ma dimle gigi de nga man mereng asulim no subil me mal sumanya so misi RENGULBAI mong special time.
Mr. Talam se tegidal amo orok yole la shorgid maktimo tirakal adakal mer elang ma CEO management ma adrabor dra PPUC maldimre nga sulira rogul okya karmam apol nga rin kari langi dil adal gire langi dil talang tangi laurio ra PPUC mal seperil dem kodong orsel deng wara customer service el 488-3870 esel dengwa 24/7 el dengwa mong omkol ram ututaw nga rin adal mo ensera ko largaw yung usukaw timle gigi de kamal masulang ka mar staffer kaw have a good day.